What's up, you guys? I'm here in the Conflicts Law sector on Nessus, and I'm going to be showing you the fastest stasis supercharge build you can have, or very close to it. As many of you know, a lot of the supers have been changed around so you get them back a little bit slower than what you used to. They now have them in tiers 1 through 5, 1 being the fastest recharge and tier 5 being the slowest. Just so happens that my favorite build that I use on the Warlock, Stasis, ended up being a tier 5 super and being the slowest. So now if you look here, even at 100 out of 100 intel, I'm still at an 8-minute cooldown, which is kind of lame. But to be honest, this build doesn't really notice it too much. If you have a fair amount of ads, you will be getting your super back pretty quickly. So I'm going to jump pretty much straight into this and show you guys what you need and show you it in action a little bit. So as far as what you need, the first thing is going to be Stasis. Now, this is a Warlock build. There's many other builds out there for Hunters and Titans and whatnot. So if you're a Warlock and you enjoy Stasis, you're going to be using these things. First is going to be Glacial Harvest, and the reason why is it's going to be giving us Stasis Shards, and Stasis Shards are a key to this build. This specific aspect will actually give us 2 fragment slots. And then next we're going to be using my favorite Ice Flare Bolts, which pretty much whenever you freeze someone and you shatter them, it's going to send out a kind of like an ice chain through the ground, and it's going to hit enemies in an AoE field and pretty much freeze everyone right there. Between these two, you're going to keep pretty much everyone frozen all the time, and between these two aspects, you're going to have 4 fragment slots. Now, speaking of the fragment slots, what I'm using right now is going to be Whisper of Fissures, because it pretty much makes every enemy that we destroy more powerful in the burst damage that it has. We're going to be using Whisper of Bonds because it's going to give us back super energy every time we pick up a stasis shard. We're going to be using Whisper of the Conduction, so that way shards track to us so we don't have to run away and get them. And these shards would track to you from, I don't know, maybe like 5 meters away. And then finally we're going to be using Whisper of Chain, so that way when we're near frozen targets or friendly stasis crystals, we will take reduced damage. Now these are what I use for pretty much all content. You could switch it out a little bit if you wanted to, if you're doing GMs quite frequently. But this build right here, this stasis setup, will pretty much get you through most everything in the game. And I am using the Dusk-filled grenade just because it's the best stasis grenade in my opinion. Moving on from our stasis shards, aspects, and fragments, and all that good stuff, we're going to be looking at the exotics we're using. And we're going to be using the Ager Scepter and the Mantle of Battle Harmony. Now, the Ager Scepter is key to this build. It's pretty much, in my opinion, the best stasis weapon in the game, if not one of the best exotics in the game. Now, this weapon is a trace rifle that's pretty much when you shoot people and you actually kill an enemy, it will cause an AoE burst of cold, which has the chance of freezing people, and this works really nice in unison with our stasis class, because whenever we freeze people and destroy them, it's going to activate a ton of different stasis stuff we're doing. Not to mention Ager Scepter has the only non-super in the game, and I'd like to say that they forgot to nerf this super, because this thing is essentially a mini Chaos Reach that freezes everything it touches, and I have this up almost 100% of the time. Now, the second exotic we're using, the armor piece, is Mantle of Battle Harmony, because Mantle of Battle Harmony is going to be how we get our super back, which is going to lead into us using the catalyst for the Ager Scepter quite a bit. And the Mantle of Battle Harmony reads, takedowns with the weapons that have a damage type matching your subclass element grant you super energy. Where your super energy is full, you instead gain a temporary bonus to weapon damage of the type matching your subclass. So, to put it in a nutshell, if you're using stasis and you're using a stasis weapon, you will get bonus super energy on kill, or if you have complete super, maxed out super, you will do bonus damage. And I don't know the exact percentage, but I believe it's the same as the mod High Energy Fire. Now, just between the Stasis class alone and the Ager Scepter and Mantle of Battle Harmony, you pretty much have a really good setup as is. But the mods that you run can make or break a lot of different builds. So what I'm running in this is Elemental Shards. Now, Elemental Shards is pretty much going to turn all of the Stasis crystals that you'll be making, and trust me, you will be making a lot, into Elemental Wells for you. Now, the elemental wells are specific types of mods that pretty much will allow you to do numerous different types of things, from being charged with light to getting your super back quicker to doing more damage with matching elements, everything in between, you know. So we're going to be using elemental shards, so that way we always have our buffs going from our stasis crystals. Next, we're going to be using the Font of Might, so that way we're going to be doing bonus damage with weapons that match our subclass element type. Ager, Scepter, Stasis. We're on Stasis. There you go. It's pretty self-explanatory. We're going to be using another Font of Might, so that way we can actually keep it up longer. Now, the reason we're doing double Font of Mights is because High Energy Fire will override the Mantle of Battle Harmony and vice versa, so it's kind of this redundant to have the same thing. But we use Elemental Time Dilation, so that way when we have two different mods together that give us a time benefit, they will actually increase the time. Now, the time that you're going to have with these two on and Elemental Time Dilation is going to be 16 seconds of Font of Might. Now, the 16 seconds of Font of Might is just a little bit longer than the cooldown of your aspect that's going to be producing the stasis shards for you. So you pretty much always have a constant stasis damage buff up and running. And because of the fact that we want to get our super back as quickly as possible, hence the Mantle of Battle Harmony, we're going to be using the Font of Wisdom, because Font of Wisdom is going to give us roughly around 50 seconds because of Elemental Time Dilation of increased super gain, which in turn means decreased super usage for us. And you will see that when I'm actually in and, you know, using the weapons. Now, as you guys can see here, besides for accompanying my chicken, I have full super energy already. Now, I'm going to get rid of my super list by going to a light class real quick, and then coming back to stasis. And the reason why is because I want you guys to see when I go in here and start killing these enemies how quickly I can actually get my super back. So let's do it. So as you can see there, I actually get my super back really quickly, right? And I could actually get it back even faster if I was using an artifact mod that I don't specifically want to respec into, but if you were using Well of Potency, you could actually get your super back even faster than that. But there is a problem with that. Whenever you get your super back with the catalyst of Ager or Scepter, if you refill your super all the way, then the catalyst will deactivate, which is actually troublesome at times. If you're in different areas in the game that'll give you bonus super and you're getting your super back really quickly, you're just going to constantly be reloading and loading your weapon and never really getting a chance to use the catalyst to the full extreme, right? So that's also why we run Mantle Battle Harmony, because when we do have full super energy, we're going to be doing that bonus damage all the time, and we're still going to be able to pick up the stasis shards, which is going to increase our stasis damage. So just in case we, you know, can't use the catalyst, we still have a fair amount of damage. But as you've seen, it was really quick in the super recharge time. I don't think it was even a minute for me to go through there. And I know the enemies could have been bunched together quicker and I would have got them the super quicker. But, I mean, even having to hunt them down and running out of ammo, I was still able to get my super really quickly. All in all, guys, this super and this build is actually extremely awesome. I like to say, as I said, the ager scepter is the super they forgot to nerf. And I hope they never nerf it, because it is this amazing. It's the best stasis weapon we could ever hope for, and I really, really think that if you haven't used the scepter, and if you haven't set up a build on the warlock with stasis, go ahead and give these things a try that I brought up today. You don't have to follow my exact build, and this is more of a guide. There are things you can do, like swapping out, as I said, one of the Font of Mights with maybe that Well of Potency, or maybe you can throw on the mod that gives you charged with light from picking up stasis wells, because that will work with your stasis shards, and then you could put on maybe protective light instead of the time dilation. Something like that for a little bit harder content if you see yourself going down quite a bit. But yeah, guys, all in all, that's really all I have to say about this stuff. Definitely go ahead, come try this build out, see if you like it for yourself, give it some tweaks, leave me some comments, and let me know what you think about it. But, I guess that's going to be it for this one, you guys. Take it easy, and peace.